Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going to be looking closely at a recent newsletter from Share NGO.
Right, that's the Self-Help and Rural Educational Society.
Exactly. They're focused on supporting vulnerable children, and this latest update, it really gives a pretty full picture of their work.
Yeah, everything from interviews to personal stories, even updates on a new building.
So our plan is to sort of unpack the most compelling bits, the key insights for you.
Drawing right from their own communication to see the impact they're having.
Okay, so where should we start? Maybe with the leadership.
Sounds good. The newsletter kicks off with an interview with Thambi Mulupuri. He's the founder and president.
And what struck me was where it was recorded, in a tribal village.
Yeah, that really grounds it, doesn't it? Puts you right there where the work happened.
It does. And he talks about a core idea for Share, how they focus on collaborating with families.
Right, which is different from just working with street children, a distinction they make.
That seems like a really key insight into their strategy, working with the family structure.
Definitely. It suggests, aiming for more sustainable change, empowering the existing unit.
Right, rather than just focusing on the child alone.
Yeah.
Less displacement, maybe stronger outcomes long term.
Exactly. That seems to be the idea.
So in the interview, Thambi gets into some specific questions.
Yeah, like how things are going generally, latest developments.
The backgrounds of the kids they help, their main sort of guidance strategy.
Which you said you found particularly interesting.
I did, yeah. It's fascinating hearing the founder lay out their core approach.
And he doesn't shy away from the challenges either. He talks about the main ones they face.
Gives you that realistic picture, It's not easy work.
Not at all. And of course, he touches on funding, how they manage that. Super important for any NGO.
And gives a word of thanks to the donors, which is always good to hear.
Absolutely. And for anyone who wants the full thing, the audio and video are out there.
Yeah, YouTube and Spotify links are apparently in the newsletter itself.
Okay, so moving from the sort of high-level view.
To the kids themselves, there's a mention of a dance.
Yes, by Nandini and Pranavi.
Performed back in February 2025 for Peter, who's the chairman of Care for Kids India NGO.
Described simply as a beautiful dance.
Yeah, and there's a YouTube link for that too if people want to see it.
It's little moments, isn't it? The glimpses of joy, creativity.
Coolly. It brings the human side right to the forefront. Shows the positive impact of just having a supportive space.
Absolutely. Opportunities for just, being kids. Expression, connection.
So next up, there's another interview, this time with Karunasri Lanka.
She's the operational manager at Share Home.
Her dedication really seems to shine through. Been there over 15 months.
Focusing on that holistic development piece for the children.
And her background is pretty interesting, too. She was in IT.
Yeah, worked in IT, even had opportunities with DRDO, which is, a major R&D organization in India.
Wow. So quite a switch to working at Share Home.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What motivates someone to make that kind of change?
Definitely speaks to a strong personal commitment.
And the interview apparently explores why she chose Share, what inspires her.
And also, what are the biggest sort of day-to-day challenges for the Share Kids home right now?
It's valuable getting that ground-level perspective, different from the founder's overview.
For sure. And again, full interview available YouTube and Spotify.
Good to know. Seems they're quite transparent with sharing these conversations.
Okay, now for some really exciting news. The new building progress.
Yes, this is a big one. They've secured the full funding needed.
Yep, full funds secured thanks to a generous donation, apparently. Enough to buy the land.
Fantastic, and they've actually bought it.
They have. Land registration is complete. Share NGO is officially the owner.
That's a huge step. Where is the land?
It's in a place called 𝐬𝐻𝐻, about 16 kilometers from their current base in Uluru district.
And the newsletter describes the location.
Yeah, it says it's peaceful, surrounded by paddy fields and fish ponds. It sounds quite idyllic, actually.
That sounds like a wonderful environment for the children. A real upgrade, perhaps.
Seems like it. And they're not wasting time either.
Oh. What's happening on site?
They've already drilled a water pit, which is essential, obviously.
Need water before you do anything else.
And foundation laying is going to start soon. So real, tangible progress.
That's brilliant. Moving from a plan to actual bricks and mortar, or foundations at least.
It really shows momentum, building on the vision we heard about from Thambi and Karunasri.
Providing that better environment for the kids' development.
And one thing they made clear, which is important.
What's that?
Donations meant for the children's actual care. Daily needs, education. That's kept separate from the construction funds.
Oh, good. That's really crucial for transparency.
Absolutely. And they even provide the bank details for 𝐀𝐻𝐫𝐬𝐢𝐞 for anyone wanting to support the building project specifically.
That kind of clarity builds trust, shows accountability, essential for nonprofits.
Definitely. Okay, so the newsletter also includes a story that's, well, it's quite tough, but really underscores why Cher's work is so needed.
Right, the story of the siblings, Rahul and Jishitha.
Yes, just 9 and 7 years old. Brought to Cher in February 2025.
By the Indian Women and Welfare Society. And the circumstances were pretty harrowing.
Extremely. The newsletter details severe abuse they suffered from their stepfather and, sadly, their mother, too.
Just awful things. Beatings, being silenced with plaster.
Chili powder on wounds, neglect. It's hard to even read about.
And their father had abandoned them years before.
Yeah, 3 years prior, apparently because of the mother's relationships. Left them incredibly vulnerable.
Just a terrible situation for young children.
What's quite striking is how their story came to light.
How so?
It actually got public attention through Indian TV, Instagram, YouTube.
Wow, so it became quite public.
It seems so, yes. Led to widespread outrage.
And what happened to the parents?
Thankfully, the report says they've been imprisoned.
Okay, some measure of justice there.
And significantly, the government of Andhra Pradesh specifically asked Cher Home to take care of Rahul and Jishitha.
That really says something about Cher's reputation, doesn't it? That the government trusts them with such a sensitive case.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
Shows the confidence authorities have in their ability to provide that safe haven.
And how are the children doing now?
Well, the newsletter says their external wounds have healed, and they're showing remarkable resilience, which is amazing.
Kids can be incredibly strong.
They really can. But now the focus is on the deeper healing, right? The internal wound.
Of course. Receiving the love and care they need for that long process. It's crucial work.
Such a powerful story, even though it's difficult to hear.
It really highlights the vital safety net that organizations like Cher provide.
Definitely. Okay, switching gears a bit on a happier note. Birthdays.
Ah, yes. Always good to celebrate milestones.
The newsletter gives shout-outs to Harshitha, Hani, Shyam, Sanjeev, Nancy, and Anusha.
All celebrated birthdays since the last update in August.
Sounds like they had proper celebrations. Prayer, meditation.
And cake. Can't forget the cake.
Never. It's just wonderful seeing those moments of, normal childhood joy being fostered.
Absolutely. It's not just about the big projects. It's about those small acts of care, making them feel valued, part of a community.
Creates that sense of normalcy and belonging.
Exactly. These celebrations reinforce that Cher Home isn't just shelter. It's, well, a home.
So as we sort of wrap up this deep dive into the Cher NGO newsletter.
Yeah.
Wow, we've covered quite a bit.
We really have. From the leadership's vision with Thambi,
Karunasri's dedication on the ground.
the exciting progress on the new building, which is huge.
That incredibly moving story of Rahul and Jishitha.
And even the simple joys, like the birthdays.
It paints a picture of a really dynamic, essential organization, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Making a tangible difference. And like the newsletter itself says, the support they receive truly matters.
Yeah, that thank you message to supporters really drives home that connection. Contributions have a real impact.
It's a good reminder that even small support adds up to create significant change for these kids.
It makes you think about how it all connects, the big vision, the individual stories, the new building. It's all part of creating that supportive community.
Shaping young lives, offering hope.
So maybe a final thought for our listeners. Consider how all these pieces fit together. What parts of this deep dive resonated most with you?
And maybe what other questions does it bring up about the ongoing work of Cher NGO and the futures of these children?
Definitely something to reflect on.